Hi, my name is Gail, and I'm going to be leading us this morning in a gentle yoga class. Gentle yoga for me is using a chair, either to sit in or as a prop to keep my balance. And so I hope that you have a chair handy that you can use. It's ideal if it is a folding chair, but if not, a good kitchen chair or a dining room table chair would be fine. Also, it's really helpful to have a yoga mat. The yoga mat, what it does is it keeps you from slipping and sliding. So if you don't have one, please be very, very careful that you don't slip and slide when you're doing a movement or a posture. This yoga class is about creating space in joints, lengthening and strengthening our muscles, and creating a peaceful, calm interior space so that you're comfortable when you're moving and comfortable when you're being still. We will not be practicing the traditional postures if you have a background in yoga. We will be using parts of them to strengthen and lengthen our body, but we won't be doing a down dog per se, or a triangle, or any of those kind of postures. So in that sense, this yoga class is a little different, and you might find that it's really helpful because we're taking the pressure off of getting that perfect down dog with your heels to the floor. That's just not even in the picture here. And for me, it's the truest sense of yoga. Yoga is about union of the body and the mind. And so what we're doing is we're using the different movements, the different parts of the postures to give us the same benefit, but allowing us to be relaxed and calm and enjoy what we're doing. And I hope you enjoy it because I do. I love yoga. I've been doing it since I was in my teens. My mom, she said, this was in the late 60s, maybe early 70s. My mom said, there's this new thing in town, yoga, let's go do it. And we did, and I fell in love with it. And I've been doing it off and on my whole life. So do it as it's comfortable for you. Remember that no one is gonna get a prize at the end of this class for hurting themselves. I like to think of it as sort of the Goldilocks effect. Just right. Not too little and not too much. It's just right. So begin to find the comfort that you need in terms of working so that you're a little bit of a challenge, but not so much that you're hurting yourself. And as we go through our practice, we'll find more and more, you'll find more and more that I will be talking about maybe tweaking how you do something so that it keeps your body safe, and so that your attention is pulled more towards the area of the body that we're working on. We're going to open our session with a breathing exercise, which is what we'll do each session. And then we'll move on to a warm-up section. And after the warm-up section, which will open our joints and lengthen our muscles, then we'll move into an area where we'll work with several different muscles at the same time, different parts of the body, creating different sensations in the body that will strengthen our muscles and lengthen them, create space in our joints, and overall well-being. So I'm going to stop right here, and then we'll come back in just a half a minute. And I'm going to shut the door because it's noisy out there. Okay, there. All right. So you can edit out that part. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come into what we call mountain pose. Aha, there we go. We already have a posture in yoga. Or Tadasana is the Sanskrit. And what I'd like for you to do is to sit one of two ways in your chair. And I'm going to turn my chair slightly at an angle so you can see. You can either sit at the edge of your chair, which is where I'm the most comfortable, but if that's not comfortable for you, then I encourage you for this part of our session to sit back into the chair. Support your back with the back of the chair. Finding mountain pose goes like this. Your ankles are below your knees. Your toes and your knees are pointing out from your hips. Your hips are level, so you don't have, if you think of it as a bucket, there's no water spilling out of the front, there's no water spilling out of the sides, and there's no water spilling out of the back. Your hips are level. Now I'm going to stop here because we've been living in our bodies for a long time. They are well seasoned. They are no longer in alignment. My body's not in alignment. By the time folks get to our age, there's probably very few people who are still in alignment. So we're moving towards these. We're moving towards having our hips be balanced. We're moving towards our knees being in front of our hips, our ankles under our knees, and our toes going out straight as our knees are. The next point of alignment would be to have your shoulders over your hips. And ideally, begin to think of the chest as opening and the arms, the shoulders are going towards the side of the wall. So it's not like your shoulder blades are coming together when your chest opens. It's as though the front of the chest and the back where the shoulder blades are moving towards the wall. And you have this nice open feeling with the shoulders moving towards the wall, not in front of the hips, not behind the hips, but just above them. And then the final piece for our alignment is the crown of the head. If you'll take your hand and just place it right at the crown of the head, and then as though you were pulling on a string, begin to pull up and feel the whole spine lengthen up towards the ceiling. You've probably grown all of a nanocentimeter. Just enough to begin to feel space in the body. You might have noticed that as the crown of your head went up towards the ceiling, your chin dropped ever so slightly, creating a nice long space at the back of the neck. And now you are sitting in mountain pose or Tadasana. We will also do this as a standing pose later on. So take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, begin to release any tension you no longer need to remain in mountain pose. And then breathe in again and out. And begin to feel relaxation come back into the body. On your next breath in, breathe into the belly. And then as you exhale, release the air from the belly by pressing your muscles towards your spine. Sometimes it's helpful to have a hand on your belly. So breathing into the belly and breathing out of the belly. Breathing into the belly, breathing out of the belly. And continue for a couple more breaths. And now we're going to begin begin to engage our ribs. So we're going to breathe in through our nose into our belly, and then breathe into the ribs. As you exhale, exhale ribs and belly. And do that 2 more times. Into the belly, the ribs, and exhale ribs and belly. And now we're going to add the chest. So on your next inhale, breathe into the belly, the ribs, and the chest. And then exhale, chest, ribs, belly. Breathe in belly, ribs, chest. And exhale, chest, ribs, belly. And continue. Inhale, belly, ribs, chest. And exhale, chest, ribs, belly. And continue 2 more times on your own. Very nice. And begin to feel the quiet. Begin to feel the peace as your body begins to relax, as it moves and engages, so that we will have a calm sense as we move through our practice this morning. Now we will move into our warm-up phase. And for me, I like to sit on the edge of the chair. Again, this is a personal preference thing. You may sit whatever part of the chair you'd like to. So, we're going to start with the feet first. And we're going to be rolling up on the toes and then flexing the foot. So, if you will join me 3 times, roll up onto the toes, back down through the heels, and flex the foot. Rolling up onto the toes, back down, and flexing the ankle. Roll up onto the toes, and then flex the ankle. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to stretch the front of the foot. And I like to do this by just curling under the toes and then pressing into them. But unfortunately, I've bumped into this toe and it's very, very sore. So I'm only going to do one. I'm just going to hold it for a moment. And you can feel that stretch across the top of the foot, which feels really good to me. Hope it does for you. And then on the other side, because I can't curl my toes, if you'd like to, please do that. I'm going to keep my foot, I'm going to hold my knee, I'm going to keep my foot off the ground, and I'm just going to press my toes down as much as I can, just to get some stretch in the top of the foot. So you can see that there are different ways to get the same thing, to get the same kind of stretch. So I hope you will modify things as you need to for your body. After all, you're the one who lives in your body. I don't. I can't even see you at this point. Usually I have students I can see, but I can't even see you. So please be safe, be careful. And the next is if you will put your hand under your knee and then just flex your foot, keeping the ankle at a 90 degrees angle, and allow the knee to go back and forth. And what we're doing here is we're creating a little bit of movement, getting that synovial fluid nice and soft. And we'll do it on the other side, flexed ankle, and just allowing the knee to go back and forth. so now we're going to come back and we're going to move up to the hip joint. Excuse me. So for me, I'm going to pick up my knee with my hand, flex my foot, which also protects my knee, and I'm going to lift a little bit, getting a little bit of movement in the hip, but I'm going to come out to the side and come back. And I'll do this 2 more times. And again, what we're doing is we're softening up that synovial fluid in the hip. Lifting the knee, other knee, flexing the foot, come out to the side and come back. Just loosening up the hip. Very nice. And again, we're going to have our hips nice and level. No water falling out of that bucket in the front, or the back, or the sides. Bringing the hips as much in alignment as possible for you. There are a couple of bones, one on the left and one on the right. Those are the 2 bones. They're called sits bones. And those are the bones that when you're sitting on a nice hard metal bench or wood bench, they begin to hurt after a while. If you use those as your guide, if you can feel those sit bones, then you know that your hips are pretty much in alignment. We're going to have our shoulders over our hips. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to start working with the hands and then move into the shoulders. So the first thing is, as though we were playing a piano, begin to press in with the little finger, ring finger, middle finger, index finger, and thumb. On the other hand, thumb, index, middle, ring, little finger. And roll through each finger, pressing it into your thigh. Now, on first glance, this doesn't feel like it's doing very much, but this is a very good exercise for arthritis. And after you've done this a couple of times, then release. And you might have noticed, let's press in all of our fingers at the same time, and what happens to your forearms? They firm. The muscles in the forearms are firming and strengthening. And they're firming and strengthening in a lengthened position, which means that you'll have nice long arms. Now we're going to take our fingers up, bending the elbows, and just a gentle flick. This increases circulation, and again, it's really, really good for arthritis. And so that's why we're doing it, because we need to use our joints as much as possible. And then bring the fingers to a still position, bend the wrist down and up, and bring the hands down and up, using that wrist joint up. And now we're going to just twist our wrist and then go the other way. Very, very nice. Hands down on to your thighs. And now we're going to lift our shoulders and begin to use this joint, but we're going to do it slowly. So there's no big dropping. It's a slow up and down. So it's lifting the shoulders and then allowing them to release. And lifting the shoulders and allowing them to release. Lifting and release. Very nice. And now we're going to work with the neck. So we're going to drop our ear to our shoulder, keeping our nose in the middle. So the ear is going towards the shoulder and the nose stays in the middle. Feeling a nice long stretch from the shoulder up to the neck to the ear. And keeping the nose in the center. If you drop your nose, we're moving into a different stretch, and we're going to do that in just a moment. And then bring the head up and allow the other ear to go to the other shoulder, keeping your nose in the middle. Breathing in and out. And the head comes up. Now I will mention at this point, if you've chosen to sit at the front of your chair, and you don't usually do that, you might find that your back is growing tired. And if that's the case, you should shift back so that you can take care of your back. So once you get into position, we're going to allow the first ear to drop to our shoulder again. Our nose is staying in the middle, but this time we're going to take our nose and drop it down towards our armpit. Take the opposite arm and begin to reach towards the back of the chair, creating a wonderful stretch towards the back of the neck along the side, and breathing in and out. We'll bring our arm back, our nose up, and our head up. And now we'll go to the other side. So we're going to drop our ear towards the shoulder, feeling that stretch. Nose goes towards the armpit, and the opposite arm goes towards the back of the chair. Breathing in and out, enjoying the stretch in the neck. Feel how, well, I don't know, how stretched out the neck is, I guess. I'm not sure. Got a loss for words there. Hand comes back to the thigh, nose comes up, and your head comes up. So if you'll look towards one shoulder, and keeping the nose in a level plane, look towards the other shoulder, and come back through center to the first shoulder, breathing quietly as your head looks from one side to the other. And then come back to center and nod your head yes and no. There you go. Nice and gentle movement. Very good. And then come to stillness. Find your breath. Breathe into the belly, the ribs, and the chest. And exhale, chest, ribs, belly. Breathe into the belly, the ribs, and the chest. And exhale, chest, ribs, belly. One more time. Belly, ribs, chest, and chest, ribs, belly. Very nice. So now we've warmed up our joints, and now we're going to stretch some of our muscles. So we're going to use the chair to do that, and we're also going to come to standing. To your comfort level, if you have a balance problem, you are going to use whatever it is that you need to keep you comfortable. I'm going to move the chair to the side here so that if I need it, it's right here and I can touch it. For this first exercise, the first movement that we're going to do, we are going to stretch the calf muscle. So I'm going to use my hands and I'm going to press down on the chair. I'm not pressing the chair out. I don't want it to slide away from me. I want to keep it right where it is. If you do not have a yoga mat, I would not encourage you to do this. You could go and stand next to a wall and use your hands on the wall, and you could get the same effect. So, unfortunately, that's out of my camera range right now, so I can't do that way. So, we're going to use the chair. I'm pressing down in the chair. I'm stepping back. And now I'm going to press into my heels and I'm going to lower my hips towards the chair. I'm pressing down into the chair and down into my heels. And I can feel that stretch all the way into my calves. And breathing, we'll hold it for a little bit longer. And then we'll come back up to here's where we're going to talk about mountain pose in a standing position. So, I think maybe a breath would be a good idea at this point in time. So breathing into the belly, the ribs, and the chest, and exhale, chest, ribs, belly. And 2 more times at your own pace. And I'm going to look at my cheat sheet. So we're going to move towards the arms, and we're going to reach the fingers. We're going to take the thumb, it's usually down around by our thighs as we're standing. We're going to move it towards the outside, towards the wall. And when we do that, we're not only moving just the thumb and the wrist down here, we're going to move the whole arm. And so what we feel is we feel an opening throughout the chest. So we have the arm turned towards, or the thumb towards the thigh. We're moving the whole arm away from the thigh. And then we're going to lift it up as much as possible, having it near the ear, but not next to the ear. So there's some space there that your shoulder provides. And as you do this, resist the temptation to reach out of the shoulder. Allow the shoulder to come down so that everything's in the right place. And then reaching from your heel all the way through your fingertips, begin to move the arm towards the corner of the ceiling and the wall. So you're not reaching over to the side, you're reaching up and over. And really press into that heel, using the arm to reach, and feel the lengthening from down at the heel, all the way up the leg, all the way through the torso, and out through the fingertips. Whoops, my shoulder went up again. So you just have to be mindful and just keep reminding yourself to allow the body to work. And then release, allowing the arm to come down by your side. And we'll do that on the other side. So if you need the support, move your chair so that it's convenient for you. I'm going to move my thumb towards the outside to include the whole shoulder. Everything is nice and open. I'm going to lift my arm up. Now I'm going to reach towards the ceiling and the wall. Reaching, pressing into that heel. And now I'm going to release the arm back down. And as you come to standing, begin to notice you're standing on the floor. Feel your feet on the floor. Notice that your toes are in front of your ankles, probably in the same direction as your knees. Your thighs and your hips. There's no water spilling out of your bucket. You're not standing too far forward or too far back or from one side to the other. Your hips are just level. Your shoulders are above your hips and the crown of your head is going towards the ceiling. Tadasana, standing mountain pose. Find your ease as you stand nice and tall and straight, moving towards alignment. And so now we'll move back to our chair. So we'll come to sitting towards the front if that is comfortable for you. So we return to our chair. I'm sitting towards the front of it. Whatever is comfortable for you is where you should be at this point. What we're going to do now is we're going to do a twist in our chair, and this is going to involve our spine. So the warning is that if you have trouble with your back, you want to be very, very, very mindful of this posture. Perhaps you want to just return to your breath and not even worry about what you're going to do physically. Just allow your body to relax. There's so much benefit in just relaxing. But if you're going to be doing the twist, let me show you how we set up for it, and then let's do it together. I'm going to take my fist and I'm going to place it between my knees. And this allows my knees to remain pretty much in alignment with my hips. And then I'm going to take my other hand and I'm going to bring my belly, my ribs, and my chest around. That hand is then going to reach back towards the back of the chair, pretty much like we did when we were stretching the neck. So that's the deal. But before we start, let's make sure our ankles are under our knees and our toes are pointing as much as possible straight out from our hips. Our hips are in alignment. They're not spilling water out of the front or the back or the sides. And our shoulders are above our hips. And just enough effort in the muscles of the belly to feel like you're moving towards the spine to support it. Shoulders, and then the crown of the head is going up towards the ceiling. So now I'm going to take my fist and place it between my knees. If your arm length doesn't work for that, place your fist wherever it's comfortable. And if it doesn't work at all, place your hands on your thighs. So we'll put our fist in the center, take the other hand, we're going to pull it across our belly, moving towards the side. Hands to the ribs, we're going to move the ribs across. You'll notice that's where you get a lot of movement. And now we're going to take our hands across the chest, taking that hand to the back of the chair. Not really pulling, it's just more a placement. And then we're going to exhale. And as you exhale, you can move a little bit more. And now, maintaining that twist, look to the front shoulder and to the back shoulder, to the front, and then to the back. Bring the head back to center. Bring the hand back to your thigh. Bring your chest, your ribs, and your belly. Release your other hand. And now is the time to rest. Breathing in and out. Allowing those muscles in our trunk, in our core that have just been wrung out in our twist with healing fluids, rushing back in to bring us strength and vitality. So, we'll now move to the other side. Fist goes wherever it's comfortable for you and however your body works. We'll take our hand, bring our belly around, bring our ribs around, and bring our chest around. We're going to put our hand towards the back and breathing in. As you exhale, find a little bit more of a twist, and then head comes to the front and towards the back, towards the front, and towards the back. Then bring the head back to center, bring your hand in, and chest, ribs, belly. Other hand goes on your thigh and relax, allowing your organs to absorb all of that healing fluid. And now we're going to move into our relaxation time, which is often called Shavasana, or that's the Sanskrit word for it. So, if you will find yourself comfortable, either sitting in your chair, or if it's comfortable for you to lay on the floor and get back up, then please do that now. Make sure that your back is supported. If you can support your head, that's ideal, because then you can really allow all of your muscles to relax. But if not, your muscles will hold you up. You'll be just fine. We're going to take a moment to close our eyes, focus on our breath, and then I will bring you through the different parts of the body. And as I mention each part of the body, begin to bring your attention there to relax that part of the body. Such as if I say toes, you'll think about your toes and hopefully allow them to relax. There's not going to be any effort of curling and tightening. This is just pure relaxation. So for me, I'm the most comfortable when my hands are on my thighs, when my ankles are directly under my knees, when my toes and my knees are pointing away from my hips, when my shoulders are above my hips, and when the crown of my head is going towards the ceiling. So now I'm back in mountain sitting pose. Bring your attention to your breath. No need to make any changes. Just be aware. Perhaps even saying to yourself, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. And continue. Now bring your awareness to your toes, to your ankles, to your knees. Awareness on your thighs. Feel the weight of your hands on your thighs, your hips, your ribs, your shoulder, your jaws, your ears, the crown of the head. Allow the crown of the head to feel soft and supple. The back of the neck, your shoulder blades, your buttocks, and the calves, and the soles of your feet. Feel the body relaxing, softening as you breathe in and out. allowing the mind to relax. And now we'll begin to bring energy back into the body by breathing in fully and exhaling fully too. Wiggling your fingers and your toes, perhaps moving your feet, bringing a little bit of energy back into the body. I want to thank you for joining me today for yoga. I hope you will join us in the future. It's been a pleasure to be with you, even though I can't see you and I don't know where you are. But I hope all is well and that you maintain your health. We will close with our closing. So if you'll bring your palms together. I honor the place in you where the entire universe resides. I honor the place in you where lies your love, your light, your truth, your uniqueness, and your peace. I honor this place in you, for when you are in this place in you, and I am in this place in me, then we are one. Namaste.